Yeah, man. The double H here, and I want to be doing more of these reviews. Just give you guys a little more content, So yeah, just to throw some stuff out there. And also, I think I should be posting a link there. So if you press the little R button on the description, we have a little radio show tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. If I forgot what the French word for tomorrow was. Demain, aujourd'hui, that's today. So yeah, Grave of the Fireflies or Graveyard of Fireflies. This is a film I caught on Film Fun. It's a film that I've always been wanting to watch. It's a film I've always been wanting to watch. A lot of people were talking about it. Elements has been talking about it. He recommended it to me, and in every kind of top 10 films or top 20 films, or it's always in the list of the top animation films out there. So yeah, obviously I think a little background from this. I mean, just to give you this, obviously a lot of people have been saying that this is like one of the most depressing films, one of the most depressing films ever made, and obviously, see, like my thoughts before this, because I knew the way I watch films, right? Okay, my name is Double H, so I watch films in a very real way. So the way the way I approached this film, obviously, was I knew very little, but the little that I knew was that this was obviously based during the Second World War, and now it was my presumption, and I didn't read too much about the story. My presumption was that this film would really talk about the fallout and the experience of the whole of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. When the bomb hit. So really talking about how it affected those guys on the ground. Because obviously that's a story that's personally I want to see. Because that's definitely one of the most is one of the most, because that's what I mean. It is easily alongside obviously slavery, alongside the Jews with Hitler, alongside many atrocities. It is one of the worst atrocities in history. I don't care whether it was during wartime, just the fact that a weapon of that kind of devastation was used on children. It's one of the worst atrocities in human history. In the whole of human history, it's one of the worst atrocities in human history. And for me personally, it was. I don't care whether it was during wartime, it was criminal. But obviously, that's to the side. that's to the side. But obviously, remember, it's easily one of the worst crimes and worst things that happen in history. So it's a story that I wanted to see, and I presumed that this would really be dealing with what it was like, for those people and how they actually got affected by the whole thing. But really, obviously, having seen the film now, it wasn't that. It actually wasn't that. It was set in a different village, I think, beginning with N, Nobiyuma or somewhere like that. And it centers on obviously this the relationship between this guy, a young guy, and his very very young sister. And obviously it is really them, having to, because I don't really want to give away too many spoilers, So it's really centers on them, because obviously a lot of stuff happens within it, But I just don't want to just give too much away, because if for those who haven't seen it, I want to. You know what? I think really, I think no. Since it's such an old film and so many people have seen the film, I think I really should actually. This should be a little bit more spoiler, because I need to give these plot points to really explain more. So yeah, I've changed it. This is going to be spoilerish. So yeah, watch that. If you haven't seen it, don't listen to this review. So yeah, it's really centers on this guy, and I think it's called Saito or something like that. I'm really not sure. I think so. I don't really want to get the names right or wrong, but I think it's Saito or something like that, or Setsu or something like that. It's either his name or their daughter's name, and it's really focuses on them and looks at the aftermath of the final days of the Second World War told through their eyes. And obviously, it begins with obviously them and their mother, and obviously, like basically, I think one of the big things and really what really gets the story going is when they see what happens to their mother, who's pretty much been messed up from the war, like a whole body has been burnt and she has to get bandaged up. And with their father fighting in the Navy, really this young guy pretty much has to now pretty much be the big man and actually look after his younger sister now. And they now go to, I think it's either a friend of the mom's or a relative, I'm not sure, maybe a friend of the mom's, and they go and live with them during this wartime, where they always had to be running into shelter whenever there are air raids. And obviously, the story then evolves and really gets into its main gear when obviously the people who they're staying with, they're very, very extremely rude to them and make them feel very bad and uncomfortable staying within the house, because he doesn't help around, he doesn't help with the war effort, so so they feel a bit guilty having to take the ration they have. So obviously this young guy says, you know what, man, we don't need to be stepped on like this, let's just make it out on our own. And so really, I mean, I think the story, so really, it's really about how these guys, they're really living on the, like, him and his sister are really living on the edge. They're having to steal food, they're having to try and, make a home out of a shelter. I mean, it's just, they're really living on the edge now, because they have nothing to their name. They have nothing to their name. They're just trying to make do with whatever they have. And I think for me, like, I mean, really, the first thing I want to say, I mean, the animation is great, and I think me and POH have this long-standing argument, and we've been arguing with this because PH is a big defender of 3D animation. It says that 3D animation is much better than 2D animation. For me, I still haven't seen. I don't care what Pixar has done. Like, Pixar has not created anything as visually or emotionally striking as something like this Grave of the Fireflies or Akira or even Ghost in the Shell. Like, these films have been, obviously Ghost in the Shell, okay, that's 2D, 3D, but really, I mean, look at Akira and this as well. There's just something very, like, I mean, at points I was thinking that, man, I'm watching a film, but I'm watching something that is a lot more artistically more, because like once you have 2D and really the animation is the stuff that you're actually having to draw, and it's within the artistic imperfection of the human hand. You can really connect with it, and it's real, but it gives you something a lot more, because it's art. It isn't fully real. It's art. It's an artist's impression. So. But then they'll just tell me that where like I felt like, man, this is like a real film, but it's something more than just a film, because it's done in 2D and animation. And I think really that's one of the big plus points, is that the animation, the look, the lighting, just the lighting and the aura. You really feel like if man, you were really in Japan during 1945. You really felt like, if man, these guys created 1945 Japan. So I think really for the artist and everything, it's great. It was great. See now, I mean, I want to tell something for me. Like, I'm really wrestling with what I feel about this film. I'm really wrestling and kind of like on and off with how I feel about this film. Because what? Like, when I finished the film, initially my initial thought when I finished the film was that, man, I didn't really like the film. That was my initial thought, that I didn't actually like this film. I know, and I would add that, despite me not liking this film, and I will get to the reasons why I didn't like this film, it's a very well made film. This is a very well made film, and it is a film that deserves all of its praise. Like, really, based on the praise I heard about this film, it deserves it. For when it was made, what they've done visually, what they've done in an artistic sense, and the film itself, the script itself is good. It's just that I have problems with it, but the script and the story is a very good story. Like, the relationship between the guy and his daughter, like, it is well done. It is a well done thing, and that's the thing that's I mean, so it's good, But I think see, my problems with this is, and I think it's some of the problems that I've had with some of, like, the Japanese animation and the anime stories, is that is this whole thing of pretentiousness and trying to force too much of an emotion on the viewer.